Mixing with my career building tip: leave your baggage at the door. When I first was trying to name this particular career building tip, I was actually going to put something along the lines of, get fired and start a career, which is, to sort of like, get fired from your job so that you can actually start a career in music. And I think one of the things that sort of spawned this whole idea of leave your baggage at the door is that one of the biggest impediments to having a career in music, because the thing that is so enticing about having a career in music or working in music production or some kind of end of the audio industry, whether it's post production, music for film, or whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you love to do, um, is this a lot of the baggage that we bring from these sort of worldwide paradigms that people bring in. So as you raise as a child, you get all these things like, don't ask for anything from anybody, speak when spoken to. You could kind of go on and on with these types of things. Don't curse, don't swear, don't get angry, et cetera, et cetera. As you get older, it's like, okay, go to school, graduate college, get a job, get married, have kids, save your money, save for retirement, make sure that you have insurance, so that, when you get, thrown in a nursing home at the end, that you don't bankrupt the rest of your family. All of these types of paradigms are things that people carry with them into whatever it is that they do. And there are such huge impediments to the way that successful people, if you really follow, live their lives. Like one thing, if you read any of the things like of Henry Ford, who actually started the Ford Motor Company, he didn't even graduate high school. And so, from an intellectual standpoint, he was a genius, not from the technical standpoint of the school books. But, and there was a famous court case, for example, where he was brought in and they were sort of questioning his intelligence because he didn't, go through high school. And he's saying, well, I actually have all the people I need who can answer any question that I have. So if I have a question, I hit a button and I call that person and I call them in and say, okay, I have this problem. What's the answer to that? And the person would give them the problem. And that's another one, like a classic thing. So listen to just like some of these paradigms. One is, okay, you have to go to school, you have to finish school, you have to, graduate, you have to get a job. So he didn't do any of those things. He left school, he started up his own business. Another one is don't ask for help. Do everything yourself. Don't bother other people. And what he did was exactly the opposite. He was constantly looking for people to help him. He was constantly looking for advice from experts, people who knew more about particular subjects than what he knew. So if he's designing cars and all this sort of stuff and he has these ideas, he has an engineer who tells him that's possible. That's not possible. This is what we can do. This is how we can make your vision work, and go through all the particular things. And then he built this huge company. If you look at many of the more modern people, you get into, the founders of Apple and Microsoft, and you get into, so you're talking to Bill Gates. It's like he didn't finish college. He dropped out of college. And he kind of started, he started his own thing in his computers. And all these guys have gone through things like these things like declaring bankruptcy, having companies go out of business, managing these like huge crisis situations. They live outside the box. They live outside the paradigms that normal people live in. They take risks. They take chances where you're always told to kind of be safe. And these are the things, this is the baggage that you need to leave at the door when you're going and you're kind of making your opportunities. So how do you transition for something like this? Because it's easy to listen to this and say, oh, okay, so Mike's telling me to quit my job and just, go out there and, and do it. And I don't think that's necessarily the answer. Okay. What happens is that you need to focus your energy on what it is that you want to do and make that the priority. So if music production and making music is the priority, put your focus and your energy into that as much as you can every day. And what happens is that the more energy and the more you develop those skills and the more people that you meet, what'll happen is your mindset will start to transition from that job mentality and that gig that's maybe, like currently paying your rent and your bills and all that sort of stuff. And what will happen is, going back to the original thing that I was talking about getting fired, is that all of a sudden the people who are your bosses are going to be saying, oh, wait a minute, it's like, we need you to work extra hours, and we need to, we just laid off 10 people, and now you're going to have the job of 4 people, and you're going to be working 60 hours a week for the same money instead of 40, and all these things. And you start to lose control of your own life. And what happens is that the more that your mind starts to separate and focus on music and working on music and working on music, is that they'll see some sort of separation, and they won't be able to define it. All of a sudden they're giving you a hard time. And then what ends up happening is you end up getting the person that gets laid off, or you end up getting fired. And that's the best thing that will ever happen to you, because that means that it happened, and that means that you're ready to make that transition. Like, it just happens for you. As long as you keep focusing and putting your energy towards what you want to do, the circumstances will line up. And part of the circumstances that line up means that getting fired from that job, which will really suck at the time, because you'll be panicked and you'll be like, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to eat? How am I going to make a living? Is actually the perfect thing, because what it's telling you is like, now is your time to commit to this better situation. That might be another job. Maybe it's another job that kind of puts you in the music industry, or something that's more music related. So now the people that you're collaborating with help you to build your network and the next level of people that you'll be working with. Maybe it means that, like a week after you get, fired from your gig, all of a sudden you start getting phone calls and you start getting all kinds of work, and things start kind of coming together. It will happen more naturally, and you have to kind of allow it. All you need to focus on really is putting your energy towards what it is that you want to do. Invest in yourself, because basically you have two choices. You can invest 50, 60 hours a week into building somebody else's business and making somebody else a lot of money, who's hanging out on the golf course, hanging out by a pool, going on fancy vacations. Or you can invest that time and energy into building something that works for yourself, that generates income for yourself, that builds residuals down the line. So all of that 60 hours a week times 5 years all of a sudden means that you're getting regular paychecks that are kind of coming in with no extra work. And that's what you want to be doing for yourself. You want to build that energy into yourself and build your own business in your own life, and not invest all of your time and energy into building somebody else's business and making somebody else wealthy. That's where the Mixing with Mike career building tip: leave your baggage at the door. The baggage is the paradigm that you are taught as you're growing up by your parents to sort of quote unquote protect you, or to make sure you live this safe life where you never get bruised and never get hurt, and your feelings never get hurt, and nobody ever breaks up with you, and you never die, and you never get sick, and all those other sorts of things. And all those things are going to happen. You have to embrace it as kind of part of life and say, hey, this is a roller coaster ride, and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to scream my lungs off the whole way and really enjoy it and get the most out of every moment, whatever happens. That's when you're really living your life and you feel excited, and then you're doing the things that you love to do, and then all the things that happen, you can really appreciate them when they're really positive, and all the things that seem negative at the time flip around and somehow become some sort of transition where you evolve, or you grow, or you make new clients, or you make some transition with your business that helps to make you bigger than you were before. Every sort of quote unquote setback is about evolving you to some better place. And as long as you look at it that way, that's how you start the process of really building and developing a career in the music industry. This is the true of every industry. It's not just the music industry. For people that really are passionate about something, it could be food or whatever, a cook, that's how they build business. It's the same mindset. Whatever your passion is, you follow it, and the pieces fall into place. All right, that's the Mixing with My career building tip for this class. Leave your baggage at the door.